Assalamualaikum. My name is Fatin Nabila. Today, our group will be presenting on the topic non-completion for the subject Bqs609. Non-completion is a common issue in construction project where a project fails to be complete within the agreed time, cost or scope. This presentation is prepared by 4 group members. First, Muhammad Hazimi. Next is Aiman Hanif. And third, myself, Fatin Nabila. And lastly, Muhammad Faris Ifan Al-Aziz. My presentation is about non-completion and the application of LED based on real case study at Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Kuna Jaya Sabah. This was a public sector project using traditional procurement method under PWD Form 203A. The employer was the Ministry of Education Malaysia and the contract sum was 16.85 million. The project officially started on 19 February 2018 with an original completion date of 18 February 2019, giving a total duration of 12 months. Due to delays during construction, the contractor applied for extension of time and a total of 170 days EOT was granted. This extends the final contractual completion date to 16 June 2019. The main reason the project was considered non-complete was because several critical works were still outstanding. These include the permanent water supply connection and the rectification of identified defects. Because these work were essential for a safe and use operation of the school, practical completion could not be certified, even though most of the construction works had already been done. As a result, the contractor was considered to be in delay after the final completion date. The superintending officer then issued a certificate of non-completion which allowed the employer to impose LED at a rate of 3,168 ringgit per day, as stated in the. In conclusion, this case clearly shows that 99% completion does not mean contractual completion. If essential works are not complete within the agreed time, the employer is contractually entitled to impose LED. This highlights the importance of proper time management and strict compliance with contractual requirements in construction projects.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Hazimi bin CMD. I will briefly explain the non-completion issue focusing on lead-educated and certified damage or LED using the SMK Kuna Jaya project as example. LED is fixed amount stated in the contractor. I contract that the contractor must pay if the work are not complete on time. Under clause 40.3 of PWD Form 203A, LED is not meant to punish the contractor. Instead, is pre-agreed estimate of the client loss caused by the delay, just a late of building use and extra management cost. The benefit of LED is that the client doesn't need to approve actual financial loss. Once delay happen, the agreed daily rate can be applied. Okay, next, let's look at the issue in the SMK Kuna Jaya project. The original completion date was 18 February 2019. The contractor applied for extension of time or EOT and was granted a total of 170 days, moving the date of 60 June 2019. However, even the extension, the project was still incomplete, although it reached about 99% physical completion. Important works such as permanent water supply connection and defect rectification were not finished because these work are essential for the school to operate safely. Practical completion could not be certificated and the certificate of non-completion was issued. Now let's move on to LED calculation. The contract sum for this project is 60,855 ringgit Malaysia and the LED rate was 3,168.55 cents per day. With the LED delay of 234 days, the total LED imposed was RM 700,041 ringgit under the clause 40 of PWD. Once the certificate of non-completion is issued, the client is entitled to impose the LED at the agreed rate without approving actual loss. In this project, the client follow proper procedure before impose the LED. Finally, the analysis and the lesson. The LED imposed was a contractual justified because the client had already granted a EOT, but the contractor still failed to complete essential work. practical completion was not achieved, so LED could legally apply. Any challenge by the contractor would be weak because the LED rate was agreed reasonable and is not a penalty. The main lesson is the contractor must manage delay properly, complete critical work on time, and submit EOT early. Otherwise, LED can cause real financial loss, just like the SMK Kunat Jaya project. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Aiman Hanif and I will continue to present about the selected Malaysian law case on the LAD or non-completion. So for the case name is QP Electronics Sdn Bhd Integration versus Mass Telecommunications Sdn Bhd. So for the key background is the contractor failed to complete the works within the contract time. So the employer imposed the liquidated and ascertained damages, which is LAD. Then the contractor argued that the LAD was a penalty and not enforceable. So the main legal issue here is whether the LAD was a penalty, which is not enforceable, or valid liquidated damages, which is enforceable. So then the federal court ruled that the LAD clause was valid and enforceable. This is because the employer does not need to prove actual loss, and the LAD only needs to be a reasonable estimate of loss agreed at contract signing. Next, I will continue to present about the comparison between the Malaysian case law and our case study. So there are some similarities and differences between both of the case. So for the issue, both of the case are non-completion. For the contract, the LAD clause are stated clearly. For the delay, for the SMK Kunat Jaya project, it is beyond extended completion date. And for the case law, it is beyond contract period. So both of the employer's action are imposing the LAD. So the legal question asked is for the case law whether LAD can be imposed or LAD is a penalty. So there are several key comparison points, which are in both cases, contractors are failed to complete the works on time. So the LAD was imposed based on the rate that was agreed at the start. So employer is not wrong because the employer followed the contractual procedures. So how the QB electronic case applies to SMK Kunat Jaya project? So the federal court confirmed that the LAD does not need to match the exact loss, and the LAD avoid dispute over calculating losses. So in the SMK Kunat Jaya case, the LAD rate was 3,168 and 55 cents per day was clearly stated in the contract, and it is already accepted by the contractor at the signing. So the EOTs were fairly granted under clause 43, and the certificate of non-completion CNC was issued under clause 40. So the LAD imposed only after the non-completion was confirmed. Then the legal justification for this is that the employer is right because they followed the correct procedures and did not impose the LAD properly. So to sum up, the client's decision to impose LAD was contractually and legally justified.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Farsifah Al-Azim. Now I will present about the summary of finding. For this project at SMK Kunat Jaya, the main finding is that non-completion can still happen even when the project is almost finished. Okay, although the physical progress reached about the 99%, practical completion could not be achieved because some essential works were still incomplete, such as permanent water supply and defect rectification. The contractor was given a total extension of time of 117 days. However, the project was still not complete within the extended period. As a result, the superintending officer issued a certificate of non-completion, and liquidated and ascertained damage were imposed. The LAD was charged at 3,168.55 percent ringgit Malaysia per day, with a total amount RM 741 440 ringgit based on the contract provision and support by Malaysian case law. The imposition of LAD was found to be contractually and legally justified. Okay, so for the next slide, I will present about the lesson that we learn. There are several important lesson learned from this project. Firstly, critical work such as utility connection and defect rectification should not be left until the final stage of the project. Okay, secondly, a high percentage of work complete does not mean the project has achieved practical completion. So all essential work must be fully complete and functional. Okay, so this project also show the importance of good record keeping and proper contract administration. Finally, liquidated and ascertained damage are not meant to punish the contractor, but to manage the delay and protect the employer from loss. Okay, for the next slide, the last slide, I will present about the recommendation for future. Okay, so based on this case study, several recommendations can be made for the future project. Contractors should prioritize critical work that affect practical completion, such as utility and statutory approval. Extension of time application should be submit early and support by complete evidence. Client and consultant should be administer the contract fairly and strictly in accordance with the contract clauses. Regular monitoring, clear communication and proper coordination with external authority are also important. By following these steps, the risk of non-completion and the imposition of LAD can be reduced. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.